Guys, this sorrel's coming back to life. Look at it. Remember that plant was just big and it was flat and weak and soggy looking? Little brother's doing pretty good too. Everybody's looking pretty good, except for this kale. Hopefully it'll make it, but... We've been doing nothing but kind of cleanup, organization, and small tasks for the last several days, and it's really good for the mind. We feel like as we work a lot and have these long work stretches, things kind of build up around us. And it starts to weigh on your mind because you kind of see a pile of work over here and a pile of work over there. So we did a bunch of shopping for the garden. We got some tomato cages. We're excited to get those installed. And then we hooked up the power grid, right? Uh-oh. Who's calling me now? Oh, that's important. I better take that. Hello, that's Jesse. One area around here that's been severely neglected is the sawmill area. We worked really hard on the sawmill this spring, cutting lumber and all that stuff, and we did really good saving a lot of the mill ends and things. So we got all that stuff turned into chips, which was fun, first of all, but also super productive. But we were left with a bunch of waste, things with nails and screws in it. We hauled all that stuff to the landfill because we don't really want all those screws over here. And then last night, I was able to finish up the rest of it, and it looks like... Oh, is there any heat coming off this? Oh, there's still quite a bit of fire there. Looks like there's still a little bit left to go. And this area is all tidied up. Are we gonna can today? I haven't told them what, but are we gonna can today?
But first, you left the backhoe chains in the kitchen.
Oh.
And I can't move them really heavy. Do you wanna give me a hand?
I don't even know if we can move them. I
tried moving them on the little like rolly thing.
Yeah.
So maybe together we can do it?
Maybe. That's funny. Your kitchen looks a lot like the garage. Your kitchen's getting to be a little bit large. You're taking up too much space.
I have to put the other counter in here.
I know, we bought another counter to put in there. My gosh. Well, you're gonna need some of this out first. Okay. Keep going back. Go back. Back.
Wow, that's freaking heavy.
Told you, and I just took 200 pounds out of it too. Keep going, down. Good. Not too much. That's too far. Easy.
Not bad. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is that good there, you think?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Where's the dishwasher go?
That's pretty good. Get with the times, all-American. Nobody uses CDs anymore. Like, my MacBook doesn't even have a place to put this.
On our way to get the upgrades for the garden, we got a phone call from a local gardener who has a very large garlic crop. And last year, Alyssa ran into him on Facebook, and we were able to convince him to sell us his entire crop of garlic scapes. You might not know what garlic scapes are. These are the little curlicue at the tippy top of the plant. They're kind of the texture of a green bean, but they have a very strong garlic taste. And in typical Alyssa fashion, we got all the scapes we could. I think we ended up with probably close to 8 pounds or maybe even 9 pounds. We may or may not have eaten a bunch already in breakfast and dinner. We dice them up in the mornings and put them in our eggs. And then at night, we've been roasting them with other vegetables, which makes a fantastic dinner. But we want to preserve them too. Alyssa has got a great recipe that's out of the Ball canning book. She can tell you more about that later. First, let me share something really quick that happened to us this morning. So you know the other day when we connected to the power grid? Well, we actually didn't connect to the power grid. We only thought we did. It turns out that as soon as we plugged our inverter charger into the grid, we tripped the GFI breaker. What the heck? So this whole time, we thought we were running off the grid. We're still running off of solar. So this morning, I started on a witch hunt to figure out what in the world is tripping our GFI breaker clear out at the panel. Honestly, what was going through my mind was it's probably part of my wiring. I wired the cabin fairly primitively, enough to get a light in the ceiling, a switch by the door, an outlet by the door, and to power our internet and security system, and that's it. But something as simple as a neutral or a hot wire touching a ground wire, that can trip a GFI. We have GFIs in the RV, but they're downstream, so they're not affected by those issues. I did a little bit of reading about our inverter charger, and it turns out because it has a chassis ground, that it actually has a neutral to ground screw that makes that happen. Behind the little door where all of the cords and electrical connections happen is just a little tiny screw that actually grounds the neutral wire to the chassis on the Go Power. Obviously, I'm not an electronics expert, but what I understand the value of that is that you then ground the Go Power to a grounding bus and to a grounding rod. The problem is the GFI can detect that neutral wire to ground connection. That would be a neutral fault or a ground fault. Thankfully, the correction for that was as simple as removing that screw, and everything is working fantastic. Now we're connected to grid power. The reason that was an issue today is it was pretty cloudy yesterday afternoon, and so our batteries weren't getting much juice from the solar panels, and then this morning and all day it's actually been quite cloudy. So our batteries are kind of running down because we've been editing video and running lights and doing all this other stuff. And we're to the point where we'd like to just stop using the generator. I don't know that we're gonna go through all the effort. We could put a timer on the grid power so that it turns on at 10 o'clock and it turns off at 5 a.m. so that we're focused on running off solar. We may do that down the road, but not today. We'd like to just make sure our batteries are topped off and that if we plug something in, it works.
27.
27 pints?
27 pints.
Dude, that's like a year's worth. Oh,
But
no.
yeah, this holds more than double what any other canner holds in one batch.
Wow. So what you're saying is we'll have more time for life and less time sitting around waiting for the canner to heat up.
Right,
and more
even though I
importantly,
love
cool
canning.
down.
So what that means is more canning,
Oh, right.
not more life.
More like...
So yeah, I'm excited to
Wow.
try that out. Look at that. I think this is the biggest canner you can buy. It is a pressure
Wow.
canner, but you
Right.
can use it for water bath canning too.
Right,
Which is what
obviously.
we're doing today.
Wow. So I told them that we're going to be using a recipe from the ball canning book. This one. And this recipe is
Dilly beans.
dilly beans.
But dilly garlic scapes.
But we're going to be substituting beans for scapes. I think we've got a lot of preparation to do before we can start the canning process. So I think I've been put on dish duty.
It's so pretty.
One down, 29 or something ridiculous to go.
I don't know. It is deceptive how many you can stick in here. Like I just cut a bunch and I'm like, I could fit another handful.
Guys, Alyssa's jars are way more pretty. That's just the difference between us. Alyssa's way more artistic. But you guys already knew that.
And you get the job done.
And I get the job done. To the chopping block.
So garlic scapes, to my understanding, they don't grow on every variety of garlic, but some varieties. And you know the garlic's ready for harvest when there's, some say 2 curls, this one only has 1, so probably 1 to 2 curls. And the idea is that when you cut the scapes off, all the nutrients, instead of going to the scape, go to the garlic, which means better garlic.
Where did we even discover garlic scapes? Because I know when we moved here, I'd never heard of such a thing.
I think very first we were at a farmer's market and I saw these gangly things.
Yeah.
And I asked what they were.
Like, what is that?
And that's where we learned about garlic scapes.
If you find these at your farmer's market, buy them.
All of them.
They will be gone next week. These are not something that kind of come and go all season long.
No.
They're basically available pretty much in like a really narrow window of time.
Well, and you have to cut them off if you're planning on maximizing your garlic.
Exactly. It's part of the process of developing the garlic. So if you see them, buy them. And then try to stay in contact with that farmer next year and just buy them up before they ever even get to the market, and you'll probably get a good deal. If you see someone who's growing garlic and the scape is still on there, you see the little curly thing with the bud at the top,
Stop the car.
you might ask them, hey, are you going to use those? Because we have met people in the neighborhood who, like us, didn't know they existed.
Well, they
except
just give them away.
they actually have garlic. And they're like, oh, yeah, we just gave those away.
Or we threw 'em away.
Or we threw them away.
So the guy we got these from, he's a pretty busy guy. He said he doesn't bother with the necks of the scapes like we're doing. He only gets the head. It's his opinion that these are the best, and this is all he pickles. So we're gonna do a jar of this, but we're not gonna get rid of this stuff either. We think that stuff's just as tasty.
So we know that 27 pints will fit in here. We're just over 10 now. So we better knock out the rest. And then what?
And then we need to make the brine,
Oh.
which is a combination of vinegar and salt, maybe some other stuff. That's where we refer to the recipe. And I'm not making that now because I don't know how many pints we're gonna get. So I really don't wanna make excess and waste it or not enough. I'm really trying to systematize this so we can do everything at once. We can make one pot of brine, use one canner, so forth. Back for seconds.
Give me more. One, 2, 3, 15, and what's this?
Oh, that's for now. And these are for later.
Oh, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
That's pretty good.
Oh yeah. Guess which one is my favorite one?
The curly one.
Yeah, because they were super curly.
Nice.
And they didn't want to go in the jar. And I'm like, you know what? That's about the size of a jar. And would you look at that? They fit perfectly. They're like snug as a bug.
Ah, that was the half cup.
That was a half
A little
cup.
more.
Oh, what was that?
Smells like vinegar. Do you like cayenne pepper?
Who doesn't?
Really? As I say, we could, the recipe calls for that, but I don't think I did that last year. But dill for sure, dill's going in. We have plenty of dill.
I think cayenne pepper is a spice that is well appreciated in small amounts.
Really? Okay.
Too much
Then
of it.
we can go get that out of the RV.
Oh my gosh, watch out, guys.
Last canning season, I was running to and from our hydrant
Ugh.
to wash things and to fill things, and I was like
Yeah.
humping really big things of water
Yeah.
all the way around. Ready?
I know you have quite a few canning upgrades that you're excited to share. And I think we're gonna try to save some of those for a different video.
Yeah, it's too much to share.
But how does it feel so far? How does canning so far feel? I know it's first canning project of the year.
I feel a lot of the things I've done to improve our canning setup, I feel them working.
Yeah.
I feel like having a space to do it, having a table is huge. So I guess we'll go into all that in another video. But I think our first time canning was just a lot of trial and error to see if we even liked it. And now I can tell that this whole season is gonna be really great, especially because we're not gonna have a lot of time to can. So when I can, it's gonna has to be quick and productive.
Poor Alyssa last year was canning in the sun, but you're on a flat surface, indoors, it's not windy, so your stove's not getting blown out, and she has bottomless water. Okay, not bottomless, but she has a lot more water to work with. So I think those little improvements that have come from the last year, they were worth it. See, the thing is, they think that all I ever do is buy tools. What you guys don't know about Alyssa...
I've been buying behind the scenes and I haven't shared any of it.
Yeah, is that we have a shelf over there that's as big as any tool shelf.
I wait till Jesse goes to bed, I pull the credit card out of his pocket and I go on Amazon.com.
Your canning goblin? New canning stuff.
I think I'm really excited to grow stuff out of our garden.
Yeah,
We have
and
10...
forage.
I think we have 15 tomato plants, right? I'm hoping all of them produce, let's be honest. But I'm really excited to make a lot of these foods that we actually eat on a regular basis. What was challenging about our first season canning was that we canned 100% fruit. Because if you didn't know, fruit is everywhere. There's trees everywhere that are just being neglected and no one's harvesting their fruits. But we don't eat a lot of canned fruit type products. We don't make a lot of pie, we don't eat a lot of jam because we don't eat a lot of bread. We did turn a lot of that stuff into marinades for meat. So we found a use for a lot of it, but we still have a lot of it left. We do eat a lot of vegetables and we eat a lot of protein. We haven't learned to hunt yet, it's on the to-do list. But I think this year I'm gonna focus more on vegetables. Again, you kind of need a system to take advantage of a lot of these things, and that's what we've really been focusing on, or what I've been focusing on over the winter, is a canning system. I think that's good on water.
Can you even lift that? How much is that? Like 5 gallons?
Oh no, I can't.
Yeah,
lift
right.
it.
You
That's
can't
way too
even
heavy.
move that. So this stuff is cooking or brewing or
Yep.
whatever it's doing.
2 teaspoons of dill per pint and 1/4 teaspoon cayenne pepper. So for these, we want to leave 1/2 inch of headspace, which is...
It's about where the ring is right
yeah,
there.
it's about the ring.
Okay.
So anything that's above that. We definitely pack these very full.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's boiling.
Oh dang.
Oof.
Oh, that works pretty well.
Oh wow.
I sort of feel like I'm gonna run out of brine.
Mm-mm.
That's pretty good.
Oh my
Let's move this
goodness.
one down here.
Move them to the low side.
Yeah.
So that's 10 pounds of garlic scapes in
so
one
big.
canner, 20 pints.
And we still have space.
And we still have room for how many more? 7 more? 26 more?
7, yeah, I think this will hold 24 pints.
24, I got it.
That's pretty good.
Wow.
I'd say our other canner will hold about half that.
Oh yeah.
So you can also have 2 canners going.
Sure.
And in the case of a water bath canner, you can pick them up at Goodwill for like $10.
We got one
We
for
got a
$10.
pressure canner for $10.
Oh, yeah,
All right.
right.
Really awesome. We have to wait for it to start boiling, and then
Oh.
we'll set our timer. The Blue Book says 10 minutes, but based on our elevation, we add 5 minutes.
Got it.
15 minutes. One of the reasons I've been really passionate about freeing up burners on the stove and reducing my number of canners on the stove is so that it frees it up to do stuff like this. Canning always works its way into the evening, and I'm having to try to cook dinner and can, and it really doesn't work managing a stove inside and a stove outside. You get the idea. After all that, we forgot to add the scapes to our dinner.
Well, that guy wants to pop really bad, I can tell. Oh, it's the rest of this little guy. It's Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah.
Oh.
Man.
How is it?
Can't taste the vinegar at all, but I think it takes time.
Well, it all spilled out into the canner, so.
Duh, right?
Right? You guys, on the other hand, pickle away, my friends. Pickle away.
I think it's gonna be a good season. I feel like this all worked really, really well. This was pretty painless.
Yeah, our chiropractor said that he starts seeing people coming in with neck injuries from canning. Remember that?
Yep. I could see it. I mean, you're hunched over like this.
Yeah.
You're trying to lift the canner, so.
Oh, lifting the canner is probably the number one.
Thanks for your help today.
Yeah, thanks for teaching me. Hopefully I will be more of an asset this year.
I think so. Well, it's not that you're just busy. The last time I was doing it, doing this, that, and the other thing. So
Yep.
I think canning, like our life, we don't just get a can all day every day. We have to build a house too. So for the most part, Jesse gets stuck finishing up the house and I get a head start on canning and video projects. So
Yeah, divide and conquer. We're pretty good at that.
yep.
This, on the other hand, I could get excited about.
This is officially named Bertha.
Yep, Brutus.
Brutus or Bertha?
I'll name it Bruce. Bruce. Hey, what are you doing? Are you gonna come out here and help Mom and Dad can? Are you gonna help us?